What's up, everybody? Going to do a video talking at a high level, following up with a PDF that has been sent out to some high school strength coaches in the area. This is to help kind of just clarify and, again, talk at a super high level. If you want an in-depth conversation on all of these different loading parameters, we're going to talk about 5 of them. All of them are important. All of them, we talk deeper on each of them inside Strength Coach Network. If you're interested in joining the network, it is a $1 trial if you want to be interested, and check it out in the link down below. Otherwise, we're going to keep this, again, high level, neck up, just to give a general overview. First of all, we're going to start off with your youngest athletes, so your middle school athletes. What should they be doing? You're going to go with 1x20. Why 1x20? When you look at what his whole methodology behind this, Dr. Yesus, it was moving a moderate load for a lot of repetitions with a lot of exercises. And yes, you can introduce special exercises. With these middle school athletes, to me, you're not going to introduce as much of the special exercises as the fact that you're going to give them a ton of different movements that they can do. So instead of giving them 8 to 10 movements all for the upper body, or different sets, because if you're doing 3 sets of bench press and then 3 sets of shoulder press, well, they only did 2 exercises. Within the 1x20, you could do a total body training session. You could have them do a squat, a push, a pull, a hinge, a lunge, a carry, a crawl. See where I'm getting at? So you can get a ton of different, movement qualities. Teach these athletes how to have a good exercise library or a good foundation, whatever term you want to use. But you understand that they're going to do a ton of different movements, and they're going to be able to recover from it because you're not giving them a maximal load. It is a moderate load, so that way they can recover from it and train the next days. How are you going to go about your loading parameters? Well, if you're training them, it all depends on how many days you're training them. If you're going to go 3 days a week, let's start off with, 3 days a week, total body training. Weeks 1 through 2, you're going to keep it 1x20, right? 1x20, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1x20, Monday, Wednesday, Friday the next week. Now, week 3, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, go 1x14. Week 4, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1x14. Then we're in week 5. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8s. Week 6, make it look like week 5. Now, at the end of week 6, you can change the exercise, but keep the category the same. So in your squat, maybe you were just doing goblet squat for those 3 days. Now, you could do a goblet squat, you can do a front squat, and you can do a back squat. But now that the movement has changed each of the days, you'll want to run it 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks to give them the exposure. So weeks 1 through 3, 1x20. Weeks 4 through 6, 1 through 14. Weeks 9 through 12. Now you're doing your 1x8, right? That's your middle school athletes. Your freshmen, so now these are, they've done the 1x20 with you. They understand, they have a high movement capacity. These athletes, these sophomores, they know how to move. Now, have them lift even heavier weights, because as you heard in the 1x20, you're not doing more reps or less reps than 8 reps. So now you're going to be doing less reps, more weight in the linear periodization. This is also where you can introduce your tempo training, so you can have your eccentrics and your isometrics in the beginning phases, and then you can start to add more weight, take reps off, kind of Dan John, easy strength style here. I like doing Jay Schrader's inverse of the Cal Dietz. So instead of going eccentric, isometric, concentric, I like going isometric, eccentric, concentric. So within this, if you decide to go a 5-second eccentric or a 5-second isometric, and then the next week it's less tempo because there's more weight, you can do that. Or you can say, hey, it's 3 seconds this week and it's 5 seconds next week. Keep the same load, but be able to hold it and control it for a longer time. I think it's potato at that point. You choose. I've done both. And then you would go eccentric followed by isometric, or isometric followed by eccentric. And then once you've done with the tempo training, you go and you do your concentric work. Start off, again, you have to remember, with the time under tension, you're not going to have your maximal load, again, unless you have somebody helping you up out of the hole. That's not what we're talking about right here, because remember, these are your freshmen. They're still younger athletes, more on the how to load your tempo training with another blog post that we've posted inside Strength Coach Network blog. You can read it at the blog linked down below. But within your loading for the concentric phase, start somewhere where the top set's around 80%, increase 5% over time, give them a deload as needed. Remember, this is all staying high level. If you want a deeper dive on specific examples, go inside, join the network, strengthcoachnetwork.com. You can try the whole site out for 24 hours for $1. Check it out in the link down below. Now we're talking about our sophomores. So your freshmen, they did the linear periodization. Now we're going to introduce APRE. So we're going to let them actually max out a little bit, and we're going to do this by maxing out repetition. There's a couple of different ways you can go about the APRE. You can do an APR 3, an APR 6, an APRE 10. Technically, if you wanted, you could do a 5. And you could, the real way that you're looking at it is you're basing your final set off of the third set. So if you're doing an APRE 3, that third set's going to be set at 90% of the 1RM. Because remember, Proliferan's chart, you need to understand Proliferan's chart. And if you don't understand it, you can look it up. We also have a blog on it at the Strength Coach Network blog. So read that, check that out. But essentially, your APRE 3 would be 90% is that third set. Your APRE 6, it would be 85%. And then your APRE 10, it would be 75% of 1RM. Then the sets before it, so sets 2 and 1, they're 15, 20% less than building up to that third set. So let's talk about APRE 10. First set would be at roughly 35% of your 1 rep max. Next set, you would be doing 55%, so 20% more for 10 reps. Then, this is the money set. This is your third set. You're going to take 75% and is do as many reps as possible. From here, if you hit the target number of 10 reps, you stay there again for your fourth set. If you get less, you take weight off. If you get more, you put more weight on. So that way, again, you're staying around that 10. This is, again, high-level conversation. We've had Dr. Brian Mann present on VBT, present on APRE, inside Strength Coach Network. So if you want to know more from the man himself, click the link down below, $1 trial, get inside the network. That is how you would utilize the APRE. Now your athletes from their freshman year, they got stronger. They have a good movement quality from their middle school years. They learned how to get stronger. Now they're learning how to strain for maximal reps. Okay, well now what's going to happen? Junior year, you're going to start to introduce your max effort and your dynamic effort into them. This is going to look more like the West Side Barbell, looking more like the powerlifting stuff where, yeah, you're going to use percentages during your dynamic effort days. This is also where you're going to be introducing accommodating resistance, chains first, then bands. But the reason I paused when talking about percentages for the max effort day, you're probably going to use your percentages in your warm-ups, not necessarily in the later sets. Because we talked Proliferan's chart earlier. Yes, 90% roughly equates to 3 rep max. But what if the athlete's feeling great and that 90% is moving faster for them and they could have actually done more reps? Well, that's where instead of saying, hey, you're doing this percent for 3 reps, it's, hey, we're just maxing out for a triple here today. Or, hey, we're going to do a max effort 4 or a 2. And now you have a little bit more leeway, and you're doing this with your juniors because remember now, middle school, they learned how to move properly. Freshman year, they learned how to increase load over time with heavier weight. Now they've already learned how to strain and lift maximally for repetitions. Now they're going to learn how to lift maximally for weight, and then that dynamic effort, the accommodating resistance, will help them. Finally, what do you do with your seniors? Now this is where we're going to look into the French contrast stuff. Again, talking about Cal Dietz. Cal Dietz presented inside Strength Coach Network too, so get inside the network, check it out. But with the French contrast, let's talk just lower body here. You would be doing a heavy movement for the lower body, so let's say trap bar deadlift. Then you would be doing a body weight jump, plyometric, fast movement. So now that your body can tap into those higher threshold motor units that have been recruited by lifting the heavier weight. You have the motor rate synchronization. You have the motor rate coding synchronization. They're firing and you're jumping higher in a plain body weight movement. Now you're going to do a light load, so 20 to 30% for another jump. You could do it for a speed squat. Then you would end with an assisted jump, so something where the speed of contraction is even faster. Then you would be able to do plain body weight. The reason that you're going through this progression is this now allows to make sure that your athletes are progressing, just like their math class. They don't do trigonometry when they're in middle school. You're not going to be doing French contrast with your middle schoolers. You need to have a stepwide progression, and this is just a very simple, high-level overview of what you can be doing as a strength coach. If you want more detailed explanation on each of these, the 1x20, linear periodization, APRE, French contrast, max effort, and dynamic effort, get inside the network, watch our presentations. We have over 400 hours of education, 178 webinars with a new webinar added every single month, dollar trial for a 24-hour period. Get inside the network, check us out, find out why Strength Coach Network is where strength coaches come to learn.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by watching more videos just like it? You can also help us on our quest to placate the algorithm gods by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you.